The LSU job is going to be open at the end of the year. There's no question about that. It ranks right there with USC in terms of job vacancies. There's the typical list of names that are out there for those said positions, but one that's been thrown in more recently, in recent days, has been Mel Tucker. And why not? With the success he's had at Michigan State, he was a line coach at Georgia. I don't know that he has any direct line to LSU, but they certainly could use a head coach not only that's going to win football games and compete for championships, but have a character reputation that's going to build a program and do it the right way. So Mel Tucker was asked about it today, and we can anticipate what the comments back were in response, but just to cover that ground.
Yeah, he had a pretty typical response for him. It's just that he was focused on that school down the road, Michigan, blocking out the outside noise and all of that. My take on it is kind of course his name's going to come up for a big coach opening like that when you take last year in the shortened season, all of a sudden you're 7-0. The head coach is a huge reason why. He built the culture from the ground up, and he brought the players in that he wanted to do. And, he is, a lot of people are responsible for it, not just Tucker, but obviously he's the one leading and directing this whole turnaround. And, when other programs see that and, they see how much his players play for him, obviously that's the guy who's going to kind of be somebody who, these bigger schools want. That's the kind of guy that they're going to want is a program builder and a program changer. And, it doesn't necessarily mean that Tucker is going to take the job or is interested in the job. He might, listen to an offer. He might take an interview, or he might not have any interest in it at all. I think it was reported that some big time donors at LSU had Tucker high on their list. So I'm sure that there have been phone calls or will be phone calls to him. But I'm not too concerned about him, abandoning ship not even 2 years into the job, but it's definitely a possibility. Coaching, a lot of these coaches make that jump, and coaching in the SEC and probably getting a sizable pay raise that LSU can offer would be enticing to anybody. But I think right now he's committed to Michigan State, and we'll see where it goes from here.
Yeah, it's above board what he had to say. It could in no way down the road be construed as a lie. And he can't unveil anything more than even if there is some type of connection or talks going on. That was certainly the right thing to say. And really the only thing that he can say and be reputable, but also be accurate, regardless of what's going on. Michigan State, and certainly you can push back on this, Ryan, but this is my assessment of the program. It's a difficult situation to be in because Mark D'Antonio proved you can win Big Ten championships at Michigan State and you can finish in the top 5 to 10 in the nation. Has it been that place decade after decade? To my earlier point, no. But the fan base and the competition in the division kind of, challenge that in a sense in terms of that being an expectation to a certain extent, but at the same time, difficult to keep up with some national programs like an LSU, like a USC that might be looking for coaches. And so I think at its peak, in any particular season, like I say, it's finished in the top 5 in the nation. But in terms of a program, you would think at its peak, it's in the top 15 range. And maybe when it slips off the map a little bit is in that top 30 or 40 range. But yeah, it's kind of a difficult place to win big and maintain that and keep the coach and all of that in play, considering the competition, both in the division and outside.
Yeah, so I mean, there are certainly bigger programs out there who have, bigger budgets to pay head coaches if they want, such as Mel Tucker, and more resources for things like assistant coaches and facilities and things like that. With that said, Michigan State is not a small program by any means. They have the resources that they need where they can make an effort to keep Tucker. I don't know if they can offer him, as much money as LSU would be per year, but they could do other things, to really entice him. And, some people might look at Michigan State as kind of a stepping stone program. If you recall, Nick Saban went from Michigan State to LSU, and Tucker coached with Saban at Michigan State as a grad assistant, and then followed him to LSU. So maybe he wants to have some sort of similar trajectory to that. But at the same time, Michigan State is definitely a program and an institution that has the resources available to keep him if they are willing to make the effort, of what he demands to keep him.